all be staying away from chimpanzees, and I think you should. It all started when a woman named Jane Goodall, who was she is an English primatologist, and she witnessed a chimpanzee named Passion. Her name was Passion, and let's just say she was the world's first chimpanzee serial killer. And let me just tell you, another chimpanzee named Travis literally ripped a woman's face off. And could this get any worse? She didn't keep her aggression to herself. She passed it down to her children as well, teaching them to kill, cannibalize, and terrorize other chimpanzees. Her first victim was a chimp named Gilker. Gilker was just minding her own business, was just taking care of her offspring when Passion started pummeling her until she fled in disbelief and terror. After that, Passion sees Gilker's defenseless baby. She then cannibalizes the macabre feast. And after she cannibalized her baby, she did it again, but this time she shared it with her offspring. If it can't get any worse, chimpanzees have been seen making weapons and spears. So basically, they take a stick, not a stick. They take a tree stick, and they rip the bark out of it. They chew the bark out of it, and then they make their own type of spear after they chew the bark out of the spear. And some chimpanzees use this spear to harm other chimpanzees, and yeah, it's just horrible. Chimpanzees are just like creepy. And get this, they share 99 of their DNA with us, meaning not hippos, not horses, not even dogs are related to us. But this monkey is related. And did you know chimpanzees are not monkeys? First of all, they don't even have tails. Then her daughter, named Pom, followed in her mother's sinister footsteps. And then when Gilker had a second child, she brutally cannibalized the baby, Pom, who was Passion's daughter. And Jane Goodall literally had to protect the next generation of chimpanzees babies from these two serial killers. Next is Travis the chimp. Travis the chimp was a common male chimpanzee kept by Sandra Harold. He was more of a professional, more like an actor than a chimp. He starred in several commercial TV shows, and he was even friends with police. Like I said, Sandra Harold owned him. And then she had a friend named Charla Nash. Charla Nash was a horse radio, and she also had a daughter. He would even comb her hair, like sleep with her, and she would even keep his drawings on her refrigerator, the same way you would keep a kid's drawings. He would take baths with her and her husband, and he was just like the chimpanzee you would know. Like, he was like the for real Curious George until he brutally went crazy. And by that I mean brutally. So basically, Travis escaped, and he took Sandra's car keys with him. So Sandra, obviously, she doesn't want to go get the chimp. So she calls her friend Charla Nash. She was a 55-year-old woman. So Charla Nash tries to bribe him back in the house. She tries to persuade him to go back in the house by holding his favorite toy, a Tickle Me Elmo doll. And let's just say the monkey brutally mauled her, ripping off parts of her eyes, her face, her nose. He just lacerated her face, and it was just absolutely brutality. In fact, his owner, Sandra, literally was like this. So Sandra Harold went to go grab a butcher knife to kill her beloved pet. She tried stabbing him, but that only angered Travis. So she was like this. So literally, she ran out with the butcher knife, and she was like this. She was like, so she tried stabbing Travis, but that only angered Travis, and yet she hit him over the head with a shovel to try to stop him from attacking her friend. And after that, Charla was rushed to the Connecticut hospital, but she suffered like serious injuries because he had ripped her hands off. Well, one of her hands, but the other one. They managed to reattach a thumb and make a mouth for her. And then she planned to get a full-fledged face transplant. and then she wants to get a hand transfer, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. Yeah, let's just say it didn't end well for Charla, but good thing she's alive today. Unlike Sandra Harold, who later died. On May 2014, 2010, 15 months after the attack, Sandra Harold died suddenly of a ruptured aortic aneurysm at age 72, which is very sad. And yet she was sad because she felt like she was stabbing her own son. I mean, I would be sad taking a knife to my favorite animal. That's like me, like taking a knife to a horse. And yet I'm not gonna do that because horses are my favorite animal. So that just shows you, don't mess with a chimpanzee, or they will brutally rip your face off. And yet here's other ways to survive a chimpanzee. If you met a chimpanzee and it was going crazy and tried to attack you, number one, do not throw anything at a chimpanzee, because if you throw something, it will immediately throw it back at you. And if you were face to face with a chimpanzee, I would advise fighting, but if you don't want to fight, you can just swim away. But if I had to, I would probably fight. You should use your legs, not your hands, because chimpanzees will just yank your hands off your arms and you'll have no hands. So I would advise kicking or grabbing an object to defend yourself, but if that doesn't work or you don't have time, just Michael Phelps your way out of there. Chimps aren't good swimmers because they have very low body fat. So just Michael Phelps your way out of there. And that should teach you how chimpanzees are wild animals, and you should never keep them as animals. Bakito the gorilla was a male Western gorilla, and a woman at a Burlington Zoo had a habit at smiling at Bakito because she thought him and her had something special, if you know what I mean. If you know what I mean, special. Okay, that's not funny. So anyway, she had a habit of smiling at Bakito, and Bakito, let's just say, he didn't like it at all. And he beat the woman, and after that, he broke into a restaurant. And chimpanzees and gorillas and other primates, such as orangutans, are 10 times stronger than the average human. So don't freak with neither of them. With a chimpanzee, you get your arms ripped off, your hands ripped off. With a gorilla, you get beat. And with an orangutan, orangutans are gentle giants, but if they want to speak up, they will put a human in the grave. But I hope they stay gentle giants. Although the biggest ape was Gigantopithecus, who was 3 times the size of a modern gorilla. And that was big. Like, we're talking about big. So that's why you should stay away from gorillas and chimpanzees, although they are our closest relative, but they're still wild animals, and I don't think they've been domesticated. So if you watching this video, I would advise not getting a chimpanzee, but if you're crazy enough, yeah, sure, go ahead. And I hope you guys liked this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!